Hi, my name is Nicci Dowd, and I'm here to talk to you today about my journey as a mother with a son who's on the spectrum. So as I said, I'm a mother. My husband and I have 3 children. Our youngest is 17 years old, and he is on the spectrum, and he received an educational diagnosis when he was in the 5th grade. And I'll have to say that was one of the most intimidating experiences I'd ever had. At the time of Judah's diagnosis, autism was a foreign word to me. So when they said autistic, I thought they were saying artistic. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool that they have a test where they can test children because Judah's dad is an artist. So I'm thinking, nice, okay, sure. So when I go into the meeting and I'm being told, okay, so he'll need an IEP under IDEA with an FAPE, making sure that he's in the right LRE. All of this was foreign to me. So what did it mean? It meant that he'll need, a lot of support. It meant that he wouldn't be able to do this and that, and it just seemed like just doom and gloom. So not only were they telling me that my son wasn't artistic, he was autistic, they were just pretty much letting me know that he was just going to need a lot of support. And it just seemed very, it was a scary moment for me at that time. So I didn't have anyone to really talk to about special education during that time because in my immediate community, special education, especially in the African American community, was a taboo subject. I was told, you don't want your child to be diagnosed with special education because a lot of our young African American men are being diagnosed with special education needs, and once they're identified as a special education student, it's going to follow them for the rest of their lives. So with that being said, I didn't know what else to do. So what was the alternative? So as parents, we can sometimes be a little overprotective. So I'm thinking, okay, so he's going to need a lot of support. I don't want him diagnosed as, with this autistic label. So what do? I didn't want him to draw attention to himself. So my thing was, okay, so how can I teach him not to be autistic? What can I do? And then I realized that I needed to conquer my fears about special education and about autism. I needed to conquer the fear that I would not be able to support my son. And I needed to conquer the fear that my son would be limited in his abilities. Rita Pearson once said that every child deserves a champion. And I decided that I was going to be my son's champion. So to conquer my fears, I needed to help Judah be successful, and I needed to educate myself on how I could help him be successful. So I started taking a few classes here and there, and I attended a few workshops, and before long I had a master's degree in special education, and right now I'm working on my doctorate. So I increased my understanding of autism, and I realized that it's not about changing who Judah is, it's about rallying behind him and helping him grow into the young man he's called to be. So what does autism mean to me? So I broke it down. So autism, the A stands for acceptance. And once I accepted and embraced the fact that autism was going to be a part of our lives, I started educating myself, I started educating Judah and family members on autism. And I kept it simple. I let everyone know that there's nothing wrong with having autism. It just means that he thinks differently and he does things his way. And Judah will tell you that autism is not contagious. And I'd like to share a funny story. So I was talking to Judah about autism and telling him just how great it is. And he's like, yeah, this is pretty cool. So he called his brother into the bedroom and he's telling him, hey, Adagio, I have autism. And Adagio's like, that's great. And Judah's like, and so do you. And so I'm like, well, all right, buddy, I get that, you're proud about it, but, that doesn't give you the right to go around self-diagnosing people, so. The U in autism for me means understanding. And it's understanding that autism looks different in everyone. What works for some families might not work for us. Just because a family over here might need ABA therapy doesn't mean that Judah will need it. Recognizing and understanding what works for Judah was what I needed to do as a mom, and it's what we do as a family. So when he stems, for example, he'll color, or he'll make a list of his favorite characters, or he'll just walk on a treadmill. And he calls it getting the energy out. This is what works for him. So initially I thought, well, that's too childish, coloring and making lists. But then I remembered it's what's helping him to self-regulate. The T in autism stands for teamwork. So I used to attend these IEP meetings with the mentality that it's me against them, but it takes teamwork. So you get everyone involved. And so when he can, my husband attends conferences with me, and Judah's siblings attend conferences with him as well, when they can. Judah attends his IEP meetings with me, and when necessary, I share information with Judah's teachers about what's going on in our household. So I try to let everyone know that as a family, we operate as a team. The I, interesting and inspiring. So autism for me, this journey is truly interesting and very inspiring. I've learned so much, and I continue to learn from Judah and other individuals. Connecting with other families and learning from their challenges has been helpful, and I'm inspired by their words of encouragement and also by their tenacity. They are driven to make sure that there are supports in place for their sons and for their daughters. The S in autism, strength and support. So I once saw a t-shirt that read, "I'm raising a child with autism, what's your superpower?" So I was just very inspired by that. So strength is something that constantly needs to be developed. It's ongoing, and I've learned that I can't let up. You also have to have patience. Again, I'm constantly learning. I'm not an expert, but I am learning that all that I can do to support my son, it's what works for us. I'm also learning how to teach him, how to support himself, and how to self-advocate. The M in autism, meaningful. Everything that I do has to have a meaning. There has to be an end goal. This journey has brought us together as a family. We really appreciate our uniqueness, and we are making meaningful relationships, and we're forming those inside and outside the family, and we're thinking long term. So what does that mean? Well, in terms of long term, we're tapping into community resources. Resources like the MOVE and I'm Determined conference. So MOVE is an African American male project in Virginia, and it's for African American males who receive special education services. And it's a great way to connect with other families who've shared my apprehensions, as well as who've been through the process. And with this conference, with this project, it's helping African American males with disabilities recognize their potential and possibly graduate high school, attend college, and just looking at those independent living skills. The I'm Determined project is designed to help students in Virginia with disabilities develop their self-determination skills. And again, these are just community resources that we've tapped into, and they've been very beneficial for us. So I encourage people to get involved. When I was at the MOVE conference, I heard one of the parents suggest that it's important to get involved. So when I left the MOVE conference, I came back to my community and I joined the Special Education Advisory Board. And with that board, it helps provide supports and just suggestions to the school board. I maintain connections with other families, and I connect with specialists like Ms. Teresa Kogar, Ms. Amanda Randall from the I'm Determined project, Ms. Marianne Moore from VDOE. I'm also involved in the Autism Society of Northern Virginia, and I'm not afraid to ask questions. Again, these are just a few more community resources that I've tapped into. So these are just a few. I'm still learning. I'm quite sure there are more out there. So what does the future look like for us? Well, we hold Judah to high standards, and right now he works as a youth leader for MOVE and I'm Determined. He's a tribe chief leader at his school. He wants to graduate high school and go to college, and he's expressed an interest in working as a veterinarian, a zoologist. He also wants to work for WIDA or PBS, and he's definitely interested in working with money, and I encourage him. I say, that's great. But most importantly, we just take it one day at a time. So, autistic, not artistic. Well, maybe. So, for me, the artistic synonyms include creative, imaginative, inventive, expressive. So this is a picture of Judah's coloring. He loves to color, as I mentioned before, and he's very particular about coloring within the lines and making certain that he uses the appropriate color for different designs. So who knows? He just might be artistic too. I read somewhere, and I think that this is wonderful, autism, it's not a processing error, it's a different operating system. So I just encourage you to enjoy your journey. I'm enjoying mine. Thank you.